For just at this time round, it's been Ebola outbreak. Shall we be in the same situation months on? We're waiting to see how the ministry is responding on the outbreak. But also, tomorrow, the expected address on the state of the nation. Now, we ask you tonight, what is the actual state of the nation? Your expectations as the president does address the nation tomorrow. Now, that is a conversation coming up.
And tonight's headlines are just like the modern press conferences. Let's get to them.
Coming up in the news tonight, Martyrs' Day celebrated across the country as pilgrims observed Ebola SOPs. Archbishop calls for unity, dialogue and reconciliation.
Paul talks about the difference that Christ brought by breaking down the barrier of hostility.
Drawing from the inspiration of the martyrs. Archbishop of Kampala, Paul Semogerere, asks Christians to remain vigilant and protect themselves against Ebola.
Ask the Uganda Martyrs to intercede for us in this crisis. Ebola is a serious threat, but we can defeat it.
In other projects in roads, energy.
Ugandans speak out on what they want the president to address tomorrow.
We need to have hands-on skills.
Kesanja, no corruption. How is going to fight the corrupt officials?
This is NBS Live at 9 with Victoria Sibia, Samson Kasumba and Kanari Mugume.
Let's get to Martyrs' Day Martyrs. And it is retired Archbishop Augustine Kasuja that has called on Ugandans to reject greed, corruption and land grabbing, saying these practices are hindering the country's development. The former papal envoy made the remarks during Mass at Namugongo Basilica as Christians commemorated this year's Uganda's Martyr Day. Attendance at the service was limited in accordance with government measures to prevent the spread of Ebola.
A modest congregation gathered at Namugongo Basilica to commemorate the Uganda Martyrs, with worshippers observing health guidelines, including social distancing and avoiding physical contact. The Mass, led by retired Archbishop Augustine Kasuja, began with hymns and prayers as Christians reflected on the faith, sacrifice and courage of the Uganda Martyrs. In his homily, Archbishop Kasuja challenged Ugandans to turn away from greed and pursuit of wealth at the expense of others.
Temptations of corruption, temptations of immorality, temptations of laziness, abstaining from work, temptations of abuse of authority and ecological destruction.
The retired Archbishop also condemned corruption and land grabbing, describing them as a major obstacle to the country's development. Kasuja, however, expressed hope that Uganda can overcome its challenges if citizens embrace moral values and place God at the center of their lives.
Temptations of unjust enrichments, family conflicts and infidelities. Brethren, that is not impossible to resist if we create a new spirit of sincere prayer and total confidence in God.
He also urged Christians to emulate the commitment and steadfast faith demonstrated by the Uganda Martyrs.
For Christians must be courageous. They must be strong. They must, as St. Peter wrote, be firm in the faith. We pray that we acquire and abide by that advice of the Pope.
Despite the lower turnout, hymns and prayers filled the Basilica as the faithful paid tribute to the martyrs whose legacy continues to inspire Christians across the world.
Still on Martyrs Day, I like that. The Archbishop of the Church of the Province of Uganda, Dr. Stephen Kazimba Mugaru, has used this year's Anglican Martyrs Day celebrations to call for greater national unity, dialogue and reconciliation among Ugandans. He warned against growing divisions based on tribe, religion and politics, while renewing the Church's call for a national health insurance scheme to improve access to affordable health care. Dr. Kazimba Mugaru said the sacrifice and unity demonstrated by the Ugandan martyrs should inspire the nation to address current social and economic challenges.
Unlike previous Martyrs' Day celebrations that attract thousands of pilgrims, this year's Anglican commemoration at Namugongo was marked by a smaller congregation with attendance limited to about 200 people. Organized by the Uganda Christian University, the celebrations began with worship and praise led by the UCU choir in remembrance of the martyrs who sacrificed their lives for their faith. At about 9 a.m., bishops led by the Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, the Most Reverend Stephen Kazimba Mugaru, proceeded into the Anglican Martyrs site. Special prayers were offered for the nation, the church, the education sector, and the health system.
Pour down the spirit of peace in us. Release us into peace.
Preaching under the theme, Christ our hope for unity amidst hostility, Archbishop Kazimba said Christ's death and resurrection broke down barriers of division and hostility. He noted that the Uganda martyrs remained steadfast because they anchored their lives in Christ despite persecution and suffering.
The martyrs were able to stand strong because they anchored their lives in Christ, the one who suffered, and he was able to be killed, and he conquered death.
Kazimba also observed that many of the martyrs came from different tribes and regions but remained united in faith until death. He said their sacrifice remains a powerful lesson against tribalism, sectarianism, and other forms of division that continue to affect society today.
They broke the barrier of region. It is believed that some were coming from different tribes. Most of them were Baganda, Radi, Banyoro, Basoga.
The Archbishop further called for the establishment of a national health insurance scheme, urging Parliament and government to fast-track a framework that would make healthcare more affordable and accessible for all Ugandans.
I request the 12th Parliament to come up with a bill for national health insurance.
Leaders who attended the celebrations, led by General Katumba Wamala, echoed the martyrs' message of sacrifice, unity and peace, calling on Ugandans to work together for a more stable and prosperous country.
My appeal to all Ugandans that let's learn how to sacrifice for our country.
The martyrs just sacrificed their lives. For us, I don't think we still see that courage these days.
The Archbishop of Kampala, His Grace Paul Simugedede, has urged Christians to remain vigilant and as well to protect themselves against Ebola, saying the disease should not rob them of the opportunity to gather again for next year's Martyrs' Day celebration. Archbishop made the remarks over a Martyrs' Day Mass at Rubaga Cathedral, where a limited number of faithful Christians gathered to commemorate the Ugandan Martyrs' Day.
Following the suspension of large gatherings at Namugongo due to the Ebola outbreak, some Christians marked the occasion at Rubaga Cathedral, where the Archbishop Paul Simugedede led the Eucharistic celebration. Attendance at the Mass was significantly reduced, with only a small congregation comprising religious leaders, political figures, members of the clergy, and other believers. In an effort to minimize the risk of Ebola transmission, even the choir was kept deliberately small, reflecting the strict adherence to the public health guidelines. While delivering his homily, the Archbishop Semogere encouraged believers not to lose hope because of the outbreak. He expressed confidence that the disease would eventually be overcome, allowing Christians to once again congregate in large numbers for the future Martyrs' Day commemoration.
We should also pray even now. That is why, instead of postponing the celebration of the Uganda Martyrs or the prayers of the Uganda Martyrs, the bishops indeed encourage us that today we should come and ask the Uganda Martyrs to intercede for us in this crisis.
However, the Archbishop further stressed that defeating the disease requires collective responsibility and urged Christian faithfuls to observe the directives issued by the Ministry of Health while continuing to pray and seek God's intervention.
Ebola is a serious threat, but we can defeat it if we remain disciplined, as the health workers encourage us. We must strictly follow all guidelines from the Ministry of Health, wash your hands regularly, report anyone showing symptoms to medical authorities, and respect the indications made by the health experts.
I know it is a time of, I would call it celebration, because people celebrate in remembrance of the martyrs. But I would like to call upon all Ugandans, all people who enjoy going to such places like Po Hotel. I mean, as you come with your families, just follow the government precautions of wearing masks, distancing, sanitizing at any time given, any chance given. That's when we shall be able to go through this period.
During the same Mass, the Archbishop also challenged leaders taking up public office to shun self-interest and instead embrace servant leadership, drawing inspiration from the Uganda martyrs who sacrificed personal comfort and even their lives for their conviction.
Uganda, because they refused to compromise their values, to compromise their faith. They chose honesty over political survival. So, dear leaders, we urge you to remember that leadership is a duty to serve the public, not an opportunity to enrich yourselves or exploit others.
Meanwhile, at the Munyonyo Martyrs Shrine, attendance was equally low because of concerns surrounding the Ebola outbreak. The Mass was led by Father Pomutasa, who urged Christians to emulate the values and witness of the martyrs rather than treating Martyrs' Day as merely a ceremonial event.
Let's take the subject of Uganda Martyrs to Kasese, where Christians in Kasese district commemorated this year's Martyrs' Day at parish churches. And whilst there was a call to embrace sacrifice, love, and service to others. The celebrations held under strict health guidelines, so worshippers undergo washing of hands and temperature screening before joining socially distanced congregations for prayers and reflection on the legacy of the Uganda martyrs. These are the details.
As the lead diocese for this year's National Uganda Martyrs' Day celebrations, Kasese Diocese directed Christians to commemorate the day from their respective parishes and outstations while strictly observing public health measures. Upon arrival, every Christian was required to wash their hands and undergo temperature screening using digital thermometers stationed at the church entrance. Inside the cathedral, a unique seating arrangement welcomed the faithful. Church benches had been clearly marked with numbers indicating where each worshipper would sit to ensure social distancing. Plastic chairs were equally spaced several meters apart, creating a well-organized worship environment to minimize physical contact among congregants. Though smaller in number compared to the usual Martyrs' Day celebrations at Namugongo, the cathedral choir filled the church with melodious hymns, creating a solemn and prayerful atmosphere as Christians reflected on the sacrifices of the Ugandan martyrs. The Bishop of Kasese Diocese, Right Reverend Francis Aquinas Kivira, who led the Holy Mass, challenged Christians to embrace sacrifice and selflessness in their daily lives.
Somebody sacrificed his or her life for you to be who you are today. And the matter are teaching us, let us also go and sacrifice ourselves and what we have, sacrifice our lives for the good of others.
Bishop Kivira reminded Christians that the Uganda martyrs remain an example of unwavering faith and commitment to God's mission, urging believers to emulate their courage and dedication.
Be a mother for your family, that your family can be a good family, that your children can be educated. That's what it means, be a martyr. Die for your family. Die for your wife. Die for your husband. Die for your children, because Christ lives in them.
Several pilgrims who attended the parish-based celebrations say the restrictions had not diminished the significance of the day.
It's not all about like you have to be in Namugongo where this happened, but we just have to reflect what happened in Namugongo, reflect on what has been happening, reflect on the day itself, but not necessarily like you have to be at the site. So I thank God we've made it. I thank God we've celebrated that day.
The pilgrims noted that while many had hoped to travel to Namugongo, commemorating the day from their local parishes, had reminded them that true pilgrimage begins with a personal commitment to faith, a sacrifice and devotion to God.
When you celebrate here, you are equivalent to that one who has celebrated in Namugongo.
As usual, there definitely was an opinion poll question, and it still exists. Let's remind you of it. What lessons did you learn from this year's Martyrs' Day celebrations? What lessons you learned from this year's Martyrs' Day celebrations? Hashtag NBS Live at 9. And we will be coming back to that. Now let's get to competition and tension that is intense as far as competition is concerned, and this is emerging within the ruling NRM over the leadership of the NRM Parliamentary Caucus following the declaration of more than 20 members of Parliament vying for leadership positions within the caucus. Among those contesting is James Waruswaka, who is back, and he is the Member of Parliament for Bunyori West, together with Sarah Itungu, Sereka, the woman Member of Parliament for Kasese District, and as well Isaac Ismail, him vying for the position of Deputy Chief Whip over the NRM caucus. There you go.
Shortly after the ruling NRM party concluded the process of identifying its flag bearers for the top parliamentary leadership, attention has now shifted to elections for leadership positions within the NRM parliamentary caucus. The caucus is currently headed by the NRM Government Chief Whip Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng. Competition and political activity have intensified within the NRM as its party members express interest in serving in various caucus leadership positions.
Allowing anybody and everybody to participate in the NRM structures.
Among them is James Waruswaka, who is contesting for the position of Deputy Chief Whip.
I really understand what parliamentarians go through. First of all is active participation and attendance in the committees.
Waruswaka says one of the issues to address is the protection of the image of the party, where members have been arrested over debts from moneylenders, which embarrasses the party in power.
Active participation and attendance in the committees. That will be my work. Maybe problems may come due to family issues, maybe debts or other issues.
Another contender is Sarah Namulondo, the woman MP for Buyende District, who is contesting for the position of Caucus Publicity Secretary.
We need respect in between the members of the caucus, and also internal communication should be internal. It should be left internal, not if you're not given the authority to talk about it, there is no reason as to why we should talk about it.
Others include Faith Nakut, Hope Nakaziwe, Pamela Chirunji, and Anito Geneva, all vying for treasurer, while Miriam Muchaye or Ron Derrick are contesting for publicity secretary.
As is the requirement of the national constitution, President Yoweri Museveni is slated to address the country on the current state of the nation. While this is periodic, many have explained where daunting questions are for the public, stating that the head of state ought to explain the standoff in the allegations of corruption in top offices, as well as give an account of the state of politics and controversies from just concluded elections, among many other things.
During the State of the Nation address, the President is listened to without any interruption. Unlike several events where guests are invited to be in attendance, physical attendance has been restricted to members of the 12th Parliament and selected parliamentary officials as a precautionary measure due to the outbreak of Ebola. As Museveni sets out to address the nation, there are calls to address the persistent questions on Uganda's transition. Political actors Ssemujju Nganda and Eddie Kwizera have asked the president to directly confront a deepening crisis of political uncertainty, systematic corruption and institutional decay that they argue is stalling national progress.
The president should address himself to the issues of peaceful transfer of power transition. This government
address, the president is listened to without any interruption. Unlike several events where guests are invited to be in attendance, physical attendance has been restricted to members of the 12th Parliament and selected parliamentary officials as a precautionary measure due to the outbreak of Ebola. As Museveni sets out to address the nation, there are calls to address the persistent questions on Uganda's transition. Political actors Ssemujju Nganda and Eddie Kwizera have asked the president to directly confront a deepening crisis of political uncertainty, systematic corruption and institutional decay that they argue is stalling national progress.
The president should address himself to the issues of peaceful transfer of power transition. This government will need to be restructured and find a minister is facilitated with 20 people, drivers, escorts, etc.
What has affected Uganda's development is bad leaders, politicians. There will be a lot of decisions made by politicians, mainly, as the ones which cause either development or not development. The president will talk about politicians who are either corrupt or who don't perform.
While the president is expected to reiterate his retained vows to fight corruption, MPs are demanding structural accountability rather than performative speeches. MP Kwizera and other leaders are calling for a harsh spotlight on recent wave of scandals exposing massive financial rot within the structures of government.
The issue of concern is to see what is at Parliament, and the people will be asking, when did the president know or when did the government know? So non-action on corruption, and which it takes a long time. The people are questioning, when did the government know it? Was it any functionality of government agencies? And if they knew it, they kept quiet. Isn't also that corruption?
While these have tabled expectations for the president to address, some are skeptical that he'll address the continued questions on governance and corruption. These predict that the president will return to the economic talk on PDM and Emyoga, among other wealth creation programs.
An address is always predictable. These days he will speak about PDM. PDM is 1 trillion in a budget of 84 trillion. He will speak about transport, and I think he may speak about the standard gauge railway. We're going to spend 10 trillion shilling on construction of Uganda Rail. About security, how security was able to secure elections.
During the 2025 State of the Nation address, the president highlighted peace and security, stating that Uganda was calm and secure. He, however, stated that there were efforts to destabilize Uganda which had been defeated.
Let's now get context and perspective into the whole picture by speaking to Joseph Ochieno, who is first out of the United Kingdom. Joseph, thank you so much for joining us this evening. The question is In your view, what is the current state of the nation? Since you want to run government, give us your understanding of it.
Since I want to run government, so I should tell you the state. No, I think you're asking me a question that Mr. Museveni would not like, because I would answer that the state of the nation is shambolic after 40 years. I think, as Shamim rightly suggests, that I was looking through last year's State of the Nation address, and his key big thing was peace and security. And I was just thinking to myself that after 40 years, you talk peace and security, and I look at China, what China has achieved in the last 40 years, is neither here nor there. No, the state of the nation is such that the big discussions we've had away from Ebola in the last 1 week has been amongst the most embarrassing moments would be for any government. Mr. Museveni got himself sworn in. Mr. Museveni sets up a cabinet of a classroom, as Semuju, a school actually, as Semuju would call it. And in cabinet, he has people, who simply do not qualify to be members of cabinet. And Ugandans get talking about it instead of holding him, Mr. Museveni, to account. How wouldn't you guys in the media hold Mr. Museveni to account to say that, look, you are able to appoint people in critical positions, including positions of security, without necessary due process? That's one. Number two, the state of the nation, the country is far more divided than it has ever been since records began, meaning since independence. Why? Because questions of identity, and it's very, very sad actually, Samson, the conversations around this where you hear us talking about identities, questions about Rwanda, citizenship, dual citizenship, all of them is a mess that has been created partly as a result of patronage, but partly as a result of failure of institutions and systems. Where we are at the moment, the biggest thing I think for Ugandans, away Joseph, from what Ibrahim Semuju has just said,
Joseph,
is
in all due fairness,
very urgent that Mr. Museveni should move away from the tradition of boring listing of basic history lessons to address the very urgent things about the size of government, the question of
in all fairness,
the question of impunity, and then the question of the size, including the size of parliament. How parliament conducted itself in the last assembly, and how actually now the Speaker of Parliament, whom we don't know whether she is under house arrest, in detention, or she's going to be appearing in Parliament tomorrow, is that basically tells us where we've been, and then you ask yourself, is Uganda a democracy or not?
Well, in all fairness, isn't the issue of identity a storm in a teacup? But you wonder if you're the president what you can do. You fight corruption, then that's a problem, and so on and so forth. Is it a very difficult task for the president to deliver a state of the nation address that will make people like yourself happy?
No, it's not. If I was actually writing for him the State of the Nation address and is able to follow the script, it's very easy. Simply say that I have humility. I've been ULA in the last 4 years. I made mistakes. I made some progress. There's some areas where we tried, the areas where we don't try. We need to be able to recognize that, well, it is time for me to transit, and it's actually possible that I've achieved X, Y, Z. Many young people who are coming up, there also maybe some older people need to be able to try and test the opportunity to govern a country, because living a country is a matter of humility, and I'm lucky, and we are lucky that we have been able to be given the opportunity to do so. Let's rally around, let's come together, address the northern question, address the Buganda question, now address the broader identity question, including the matter that seems to be happening with the recent proposed appointee of Minister of State. But if I may say, it is rather chilly that only a few weeks ago, we were having the anti-sovereignty legislation where we talk about other Ugandans as them. Where are these people, including some of them, including Muganga? Where was their position?
Mr. Joseph Ocheno speaking to us there out of the United Kingdom. Now, let's just go back to some of your responses to the question that we asked as far as our poll question is concerned this evening.
Feedback Brought to you by...
They are designed to support your growth. Visit absa.co.ug for personal loans that help where it matters. ABSA, your story matters.
Let's quickly run through those responses as and when they come. The question is there for you, so let's go to the responses straight away. And who do we have here this evening? That's the question. Let's see what the responses look like. Matanda Ibra says, the lesson I have learned from this year's Mother's Day celebrations is that the public health can override tradition. You call it tradition? Well, that's you. Who else is there? Isaac says, faith isn't loud crowds. It's quiet courage in crisis. This year's subdued Mother's Day taught us that true devotion shines brightest when tested. Actually, faith has a definition in the book of Hebrews chapter 11. And finally, this year's Mother's Day celebrations highlighted the importance of faith, sacrifice, unity, and standing firm for one's beliefs. They also reminded leaders and citizens of the need for integrity, selfless service, and commitment to the common good.
More to come.
And more to come, it is Kampala's traders still waiting for flood compensation. That's actually because they're waiting for flood compensation. It's a good place to read Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1, where it says, faith is the evidence of things hoped for, and by faith we see.
Today we are in Makerere College School, and we've got our winner, and that is none other than Michelle. I am sure you've already gotten the school fees, and the excitement is already there. Thank you so much.
Michelle has won school fees for a year. Never Zaba Momo. 3 times paid, cleared.
You can also stand a chance to win. You simply have to dial *165 *80 hash or use the Momo app. Schools that accept students to pay school fees using Momo also stand a chance to win a van. Pay your school fees. You never know, you could be the lucky winner.
They share an office. Some work in the day, some at night. What they have in common: focus, dedication. That's what makes them champions. They also share something else: the reward of being one. The official beer of the FIFA World Cup 2026. Not for persons under the age of 18. Drink responsibly.
In 30 seconds, I'll tell you why you have until the 30th of June 2026. First, the 30th of June is your deadline to file your tax returns for the financial year ending 2025-2026. Don't wait. Late filing means errors, and errors mean penalties. Second, if you have an outstanding tax, pay your principal by the 30th of June 2026, and URA will give you a 100% tax waiver. No interest, no penalties, gone. File and pay now at www.ura.go.ug.
Developing Uganda together. Carrying cash can be stressful. The I&M Bank multi-currency prepaid card makes paying smart and simple. Load and spend confidently in 9 currencies: Ugandan shilling, Kenyan shilling, Tanzanian shilling, Rwandan franc, Indian rupees, United States dollar, British pound, euro, and South African rand. Enjoy safe, simple payments wherever you go. The I&M Bank multi-currency prepaid card is open to everyone, whether you have an I&M Bank account or not. Get yours today and pay confidently worldwide in 9 currencies.
I&M Bank Uganda Limited is regulated by Bank of Uganda. Customer deposits are protected by the Deposit Protection Fund up to 10 million shillings. Terms and conditions apply.
I&M Bank, on your side.
It must surrender today and spread those smiles, please. Surrender today and show your smile, please. The world's falls back at you, so come on, smile, please. Spread the smile.
Color your world.
Sorry, the number you have called is currently switched off. Please try again later.
The Kamani is not picking up my calls. He has now switched off his phone. He looked legit, so I paid him 500k to process my NSSF money. How dare you?
In a world that's always changing, the foundations of trust must stay strong. For over 60 years, we've built the minds that build trust, shaping the professionals who carry confidence into boardrooms, communities, and lives. Because trust doesn't happen by chance, it's built, tested, and taught. As the world moves forward, so do we, blending data, innovation, and human insight to prepare the next generation of industry leaders.
Insurance Training College in Uganda, enhancing professionalism.
Start something new, something uplifting, something so effortless and golden. A thirst-quenching burst of sweetness and malty flavor. So rich and full of memories. It's 100% taste, zero alcohol. Try it, savor it, feel it elevate every moment. Sip after sip, gulp after gulp. After all, life's about turning ordinary thrills into golden chills.
Start something malty with the new Evervest Malt Apple and Pineapple. Try the burst of sweetness and malty flavor. It's 100% taste, zero alcohol. Available in a shop or supermarket near you. Evervest Malt. Make every moment golden. Evervest Malt is from the makers of PepsiCo.
Your uncle wants you to get a loan. He says you should buy a Beamer to stop embarrassing him in front of his friends with your malnourished car. That you should buy one of those expensive shirts they call Versace, so that people stop spreading rumors that his family has no style. That you need an iPhone because he's tired of biting his tongue whenever he tries to pronounce that funny thing you're holding. Good thing you've got ABSA. Our loans are not designed for others to change what they say about you. They are designed to support your growth. Visit absa.co.ug for personal loans that help where it matters. ABSA, your story matters.
Welcome back. Residents and business leaders across the Ankole sub-region are calling for concrete solutions to pressing economic and security challenges ahead of tomorrow's State of the Nation address. Among their key concerns is the recent enforcement of trade and urban order regulations. In major towns such as Mbara, crackdowns aimed at reorganizing streets and markets that have disrupted business operations, with many traders saying the measures have negatively affected their livelihoods instead of improving the trading environment.
Unlike previous State of the Nation address, where some people had lost hope, it seems different after President Yoweri Museveni's swearing in, new cabinet list out, and members of parliament and other local government leaders, with expectations high among residents of Mbarara.
This State of Nation address, where the president and the government comes to give an accountability.
Local leaders report that heavy-handed enforcement has disrupted established supply chains and forced informal vendors off the streets without viable alternatives.
The government should come up with a program of financing those people, because we know they have been using PDM money. Unfortunately, all that capital was destroyed.
Compounding these economic anxieties is a noticeable dip in local security. Residents across the sub-region have expressed growing fear over a rise in nighttime burglary and youth-led petty crimes, which many directly link to the area's staggering youth unemployment rate.
At the time of harvest, you work so hard. At the time of harvest, you don't harvest. It is some thief who is harvesting. So I think the president of Uganda, as the commander-in-chief, needs to rein in on Uganda police force.
With thousands of graduates entering the job market each year, only to find empty hands, local leaders warn that idle youth are increasingly turning into crime out of desperation, hoping that the president addresses this issue.
You find a factory making a huge profit from Ugandans, but they are paying little. How can someone survive with 3,000? There are factories who pays 3,000 shillings per day. It's a very big challenge. So government should look into that issue.
People can't save money. Why? The cost of living is very high.
Youth advocates in Ankole are now calling on the state to move beyond rhetoric and invest heavily in localized vocational skilling, agriculture grants, and accessible capital.
Africa and Uganda inclusive, where someone qualifies as an electrical engineer, but he cannot make a bulb. What kind of education are we talking about? We need to have hands-on skills in these universities that when people graduate can go and start their life, since government cannot provide a startup capital.
So these are the things I would want to see in the State of Nation address, not these things of history. We read history.
As the nation tunes in, the people of Ankole are making it clear that they are looking for more than political posturing.
Dr. Lawrence Muganga has broken his silence following reports that Parliament's Appointments Committee rejected his nomination for the position of State Minister for Internal Affairs, arguing that the vetting process was unfair. Muganga also dismissed claims that he has ever held 3 passports simultaneously and questioned why he faced intense scrutiny over citizenship-related issues, while other nominees who encountered similar concerns were ultimately approved.
Speaking to journalists at Parliament yesterday, Deputy Speaker Thomas Taiyewa revealed that the Appointments Committee had encountered several ministerial nominees holding dual or multiple citizenships during the vetting process. He said some of the affected nominees committed to renouncing their foreign citizenships and were subsequently approved, although he stopped short of disclosing the committee's decision on all the candidates involved.
The verification with the Ministry of Internal Affairs, and we discovered that we had 3 colleagues who had dual citizenship and 1 colleague who had multiple citizenship. So we have looked at it extensively, and all of them have brought records renouncing their citizenship.
By this morning, reports had emerged that one of the nominees caught up in the citizenship controversy, Dr. Lawrence Muganga, had been rejected by the committee after allegedly failing to satisfactorily explain questions surrounding his citizenship status.
I had a Ugandan passport and I have a Canadian passport.
right? So, and he asked me, like, he didn't even ask me, I offered to put aside one citizenship in order to serve my country.
In an exclusive interview with NBS Television, Dr. Lawrence Muganga, who had been nominated for the position of State Minister for Internal Affairs, spoke candidly about his experience before the committee.
He started really cross-examining me and painting a picture in front of other members of the committee that I actually had 3 passports. Something that was really wrong.
Muganga maintains that he adequately responded to all questions raised by committee members and highlighted his contribution to Uganda's education sector and national development. He says several members appeared satisfied with his explanation and were ready to support his approval before the discussion took a different turn.
5 members seconded him. You could hear this member saying, I second him, I second him, I second him, to almost 6 or 7. So basically, he started asking me now, cross-examining me.
Muganga insists that he has never held 3 passports or citizenships at the same time. He questions why he appeared to face a different standard from other nominees, including Calvin Echodu, Shatse Kutesa, who also faced citizenship-related scrutiny but were ultimately approved.
And they had actually passed 2 ahead of me who were like me. Okay? They simply wrote an email to their these other countries where they had citizenship to renounce, but on email, and they brought that to the committee and they allowed them. Now, when it came to me, that methodology did not work.
Muganga says he was born in Uganda and that both his parents are Ugandan citizens. Muganga added that the matter now rests within the appointing authority, President Joey Museveni, whom he thanked for entrusting him with the nomination.
All of us, we want to contribute something to our country. We want to serve the country.
Cattle compensation, balalo, poverty and infrastructure development lead the way for what their people in Acholi sub-region expect the president to discuss while addressing the nation. Many say year in and year out, these have remained persistent promises for the region.
People in northern Uganda to really get out of the hangover.
Every year, it's the same message delivered by the same person during the same period. From last year's State of Nation address, the president wowed Acholi sub-region with promises of roads, compensation, and fights against poverty. And as they wait for another address, they're wondering what might change this time.
You have a district without a road, tarmac road, that is Agago. We have never had it. So in infrastructures, we now want to hear what are infrastructure development are we going to get?
The issue of an industrial park within the corridor of Gulu city, this one is something that is needed.
It's like a ritual that the president normally performs in each and every financial year. But this time, since he has started the new term, the new era, and recalling his promise that this is the term for no sleep and a corner corruption, I expect the president to tell Ugandans how he's going to fight the corrupt officials.
And this time, they want the president to walk the talk.
I recall during the campaigns, when the president came to northern Uganda, he promised our people that this time, each and every household shall be given 5 heads of animals, in which it will be paid in terms of money. I would like to wait and listen from the president how the implementation is going to take place.
The government now needs to focus herself and ensure that the poverty that has been crippling in the region is fought. Goes to the wananchi.
Many of the government projects and programs are implemented at local government levels. We ask, what are their wishes ahead of the presidential address tomorrow?
There is need
for our population to get out of subsistence ways of living and doing business and get really to commercialize a lot of the things that we do. For us in Gulu City, that is one area that is critical.
Notwithstanding the pending issues in Acholi, which includes the Balalo question, the land issues, and inclusive of other presidential directives that you already made before and were not really fully implemented.
Leaders and stakeholders in Bunyoro Kitara Kingdom want the president to address several key issues in the State of the Nation address, including the operationalization of Bunyoro University, an increase in the region's oil revenue share from 1% to at least 10%, and the growing problem of land grabbing, which they allege is often linked to influential figures in government. However, many say they have low expectations, arguing that the previous State of the Nation addresses have largely consisted of promises and statements that were not followed by meaningful action.
The community of Bunyoro Kitara Kingdom have anxiety to listen to the president make a statement on his plans to operationalize Bunyoro University, whose commissioning was done during the campaigns, but no action done to date. Other issues include the increase of land grabbing by high-profile people in government in Bunyoro that has left many homeless and unable to engage in productive farming.
He came and commissioned the Bunyoro University that is going to be in Chikube district in Buhimba, but we haven't seen any action being taken.
So we are hoping that this financial year we shall have the construction start, the implementation, operationalization of the university. This has been long overdue.
Bunyoro University does not only come with academic, but it comes with job opportunities. And therefore, when we get to Bunyoro University, we shall have enlarged our brains. Everything the president talks, let it not stop in words. Let it go in actions. You know, we have seen people who are having issues. We have seen land grabbing now here in Bunyoro.
The leaders equally want the president to promise that the region's lion's share in the oil and gas sector increases from 1% to at least 10%, and also increase job slots in the oil companies, saying that the region ought to benefit since it affects them directly.
1% is not enough for Bunyoro as a region. We are a very big region.
Oil projects, but the youth have not got jobs. People have been taking applications in these companies, but they are being asked for money.
When you look at the oil and gas, the job opportunities, less than 5% of our people are employed, and majority of those are doing casual work. They are not in office.
While the NRM expects big for the region, in the State of the Nation address, the opposition in Hoima say that they do not expect much, rather statements like he has always done, year in, year out, making promises that are never followed up.
But Hoima and the other districts in Bunyoro, we are still a bit lacking behind. The emphasis should be put on implementation.
So what are you leaders saying online? This is Social Spotlight. President Yoweri Museveni, fellow countrymen and countrywomen, and especially the Bazukulu, Mama Janet and I wish you all a happy and peaceful Martyrs' Day despite the unforeseen disruptions on account of the Ebola virus, which must be denied the opportunity to spread among the population. I thank the religious leaders, the Balamazi and all Christian faithful for accepting the measures put in place to prevent the spread of Ebola, including the postponement of the usual large congregations at Namugongo, which attract visitors from outside our borders. May you continue to emulate the Martyrs' example of sacrifice and total surrender to God. I wish you a peaceful Martyrs' Day. Signed, Yoweri Museveni. John Sadek said pleased to meet His Excellency President Kaguta Museveni to discuss the 50th anniversary of the EU-Uganda partnership over the decades. The partnership has grown stronger, creating opportunities for people, business and communities. We look forward to working together for the future. Here's a quick reminder of our top stories tonight. Mother's Day celebrated across the country as pilgrims observed Ebola SOPs. question is, was there selective application of the law during the ministerial vetting? And examining the state of the nation, what are the current issues at hand? NBS 11/9 takes a break. We'll be back here. We'll be speaking more stories, business and sport.
You will always know when you're in the presence of the finest. It's like time slows down, just enough for you to feel everything in full flavor.
Tusker Malt Lager. Alcohol is not for certain persons under 18. Please drink responsibly.
Why pay for someone else's repairs? Say goodbye to hidden costs and hello to peace of mind of a brand new start. Discover the Suzuki range of unmatched, fuel-efficient and reliable options. From the iconic Jimny to the new Across Hybrid. Find the perfect blend of style and world-class efficiency. Upgrade today and enjoy 1 year of free fuel and comprehensive insurance, plus 2 years of free service and a 3-year warranty. Trade in your current car or choose financing to start driving as you pay installments. Don't wait. Visit the Suzuki showroom today or call 0800-211-033 to get started.
Tired of the limits? Tired of slow connections? It's time to break free. Introducing BCC Net from Blue Crane Communications. Choose the package that fits your life. BCC Lite, 20 Mbps. BCC Pro, 50 Mbps. Or BCC Extreme, 100 Mbps. For every need, every moment. Learning, conferencing, gaming, and so much more. Switch to BCC Net today. BCC Net, fast, reliable, and true unlimited internet. Blue Crane Communications is regulated by Uganda Communications Commission.
There's a new way to keep your breath fresh all day. Introducing Movit All Day Toothpaste, meant to give you powerful night gum defense and teeth whitening. The charcoal flavor gives you deep cleansing and power stain removal. And the herbal delivers natural strength for healthy, confident smiles. Choose Movit All Day Toothpaste and enjoy freshness all day.
Hey travelers, are you a family gearing up for that big vacation, a hustler working abroad coming home, or your squad chasing sunsets and passport stamps? It's time you lock in. Say goodbye to long airport queues, shocking roaming bills, and the stress of hunting for local SIM cards, because now you can travel like a local. Stay connected in over 180 countries. Just scan, tap, and boom! Instant data the moment you reach your destination. Get your Rogue Travel eSIM today at travel.roguetelecom.co.ug. Contact us on 020-500-123.
June is Budget Month, a defining moment for Uganda's economy. Under the theme, For Monetization of Uganda's Economy, the 2026-2027 National Budget focuses on commercial agriculture, industrialization, digital transformation, and market access. This June, Next Media 2026. Business Pulse, brought to you by
Welcome back. Let's get straight to business. Now, in Uganda today, a smartphone is no longer just a communication tool. It is a bank, a classroom, a marketplace, an office, and for many young people, a lifeline to survival. But while the country pushes aggressively toward a digital economy, millions of Ugandans remain locked out of the high cost of smartphones and high taxes on mobile money charges, which makes it unaffordable. In this report, Hakeem Wampamba shows how taxes on entry-level smartphones and mobile money transactions could be slowing Uganda's digital transformation and why some experts now say reducing those taxes may unlock more economic growth than keeping them.
Uganda aims to build a digital economy where smartphones are no longer a luxury, but essential tools for business, education, banking, and survival. High import taxes on entry-level smartphones continue to push affordable devices beyond reach of ordinary citizens, while the 0.5% excise duty on mobile money cash withdrawals is increasing the cost of participating in the country's fast-growing digital economy. Brenda Namulindwa operates a boutique in Chisasi, a Kampala suburb. Most of her sales are off social media.
So I get to promote my business, maybe it's Instagram, WhatsApp statuses, and also TikTok. I do upload the posts, the photos, so the way I get to target a certain class of clients and they dare to come in to support us.
The power of a smartphone stretches to markets too. At Nakasero Market in downtown Kampala, business no longer stops at the stall. Customers order for products on WhatsApp and advertising happens on TikTok and Facebook.
Buli kitundiwa wano mu katale mbeera nkikuba ebifaananyi ne nkiteeka ku media kati abantu babyetaaga ne bankubira ki nemba nga mbidelivalinga mu maka gaabwe ne bampa ku sente.
Shop owners too no longer wait for walk-in customers, they find them online.
So once I post my function, of course someone will be interested. I post in my contact. They just give in a call. I always send orders through the WhatsApp, TikTok, depending on my different platforms. So I always get orders.
However, the benefits of having a smartphone and being connected arise to only the privileged, as some people cannot afford.
Smartphone tezisoboka ennaku zino. Osanga nga smartphone emitwalo 34 nga nzowa wansi tegisobola.
Retailers of smartphones say entry-level smartphones remain expensive because of the high taxes.
If you purchase a phone maybe at a China price of 70,000, you reach the airport, you find the tax they want extra 70 or even more than the price you bought.
From online businesses and ride-hailing apps to e-learning and government services, smartphones are becoming an essential infrastructure. Yet millions of Ugandans still use basic feature phones because smartphones remain unaffordable.
In Uganda, we have about 47.3 million handsets. Out of these, 18.2 million are actually smartphones. Smartphone probably devices in the country at about 35.5%. The rest are feature phones.
Analysts blame part of the problem on taxes and import duties that significantly raise the final retail cost of entry-level devices.
So when smartphones undergo that tax burden, despite the fact that it's an opportunity for government to have revenue, it's still an issue for an economy that's just growing.
But there are these low-grade smartphones below $150 that you don't need to tax.
These say a smartphone today is not a luxury item anymore. It is an economic tool, and taxing access to it is like taxing the opportunity itself.
The government looks at a phone not as a business instrument, like a shop, but they look at it as a gadget for occasion. It is not.
But perhaps nowhere is the frustration louder than on mobile money charges.
Toma tugeza kuzeeka ebintu bya mitwalo tugeze 5. Okiwulira? Ogenda okujjayo bakuwa mmeka? Bagenda kuwa tugeze na 8. Nga odo obadde ogirako 10,000 nga mmeka? 15,000 oba osigazaako 3.
The taxes are a bit high when it comes to the direct transactions, and that inconveniences our clients.
Uganda remains one of Africa's leading mobile money economies, processing billions in transactions annually. The platform has transformed financial inclusion, especially for citizens without traditional bank accounts. But economists argue that taxing withdrawals discourages digital transactions and pushes some users back to cash.
Excise duty on mobile money transactions of 0.5%. It's discouraging mobile money usage. That's why you see people say, let me come for the money, don't deposit it. Because it's become a pain for mobile money users.
I paid one of the people that supports me, and he came back and he said, do you know how much was taken from withdrawing? And I tried to understand, because his downstream payments mobile money payments are not accepted. So the only option is for him to have cash. You and I, because of a privilege or access, most of the locations we go to, mobile money will be the easiest way of transmitting, of transacting. At a 2,000 from an inconvenience perspective is not. But to the guy in my village, that 2,000 is everything.
Policy advocates now argue that reducing taxes on entry-level smartphones and removing excise duty on mobile money withdrawals could stimulate economic growth far beyond the short-term revenue that government currently collects.
Let me remove the 0.5% tax on mobile money transactions. Let me remove the 10% import duty on smartphones. Then you create an environment where the digital economy can thrive.
Definitely, if there are those concerns, we can always listen to them. The intention of government is not to overtax the citizens.
For small businesses, cheaper smartphones would mean easier access to online markets, and for rural communities, it could mean greater participation in banking, healthcare, and government services. And for Uganda's broader economy, experts say that could even unlock full potential of the Ugandan technology-driven population.
Rains turned Kampala's downtown business district into a disaster zone as flash floods obstruct.
October 2025 comes with immense pain for the traders operating downtown Kampala, as most of their shops were submerged in water that came from the flash floods on that very Friday. To this very day, some of them do not know the fate of their compensation and are still hoping against hope that they are compensated.
Today, main businesses remain crippled. Some shops have never really recovered, while others have shut down completely. What was once Kampala's bustling commercial hub is now, according to traders, only a shadow of its former glory.
3
different lists have reportedly emerged during the verification process. According to the Kampala City Traders Association spokesperson, the registration and verification process was hijacked.
The Federation of Uganda Traders and Traders Associations, FUTA, came up with a list of around 19 buildings, and the 20th is, I think, the victims of Owino market. So they are saying they have 20 entities, including Owino, and they have 2,000 plus numbers of victims, which we think, if verified properly by government entities, that will be paid.
The oldest Traders Association alleges that disputes over beneficiary lists have stalled the release of approximately 20 billion shillings intended for affected traders.
One, Kasita Uganda applied for lists, verified lists from different entities, where the Office of the Mayor provided us with a list of over 465 people from buildings that were not actually listed. So Kasita brought that list at the office and sensitized or called upon all the victims to come and check through the list so that they can verify their names. We realized that most of the buildings that were not captured.
And as accusations fly between the trade associations and stakeholders, thousands of flood victims say that they are caught in the middle.
Kati bali mukana list entufu yeruwa naye ffe ekitwewuunyisa ye lisiti eyaba iso gye baawandiika mama Nabbanja Prime Minister gye yasindika wano bajje batuwandiike naye ne mulemu okugamba nti eno lisiti gye mba ŋŋenderako.
For them, the debate is no longer about the lists, it's about survival.
Emyezi egimu gitandise otulemerera, kapito yenna yaggwaawo.
Atuyambe atuwe kasente.
8 months after floods washed away businesses and livelihoods, affected traders say that the promised compensation remains just that, a promise. As the controversy surrounding the beneficiary lists deepens, many are left wondering whether the long-awaited 20 billion shillings will ever reach those who lost everything.
And now for sport, Uganda Boxing Federation has assured stakeholders that the federation will successfully re-register with the National Council of Sport before June 7th set deadline. Federation Vice President Sula Kamoga says they have achieved the major requirement of 75% national coverage, with Batenuhu getting ready for the test as Champions League action returns this Saturday at Club Obligato. Kamoga explained why the Commonwealth Games bound national boxers have been subjected to Champions League action.
This weekend we're heading to our event number 3 for season 5 of our Champions League. And we shall be at Obligato, and we shall have a total of 25 bouts up in action. Remember, this is our season 5 and the boxers are fully charged. And amongst the boxers that we do have, we have some boxers that are preparing for the Commonwealth. The reason we are doing this is that we want to assess how far they have been in training, how far they have reached, such that the coaches can make further improvements, such that we can have to fine-tune our team for the Commonwealth. The re-registration for Uganda Boxing Federation is ongoing, and right now we are compiling our files, and by the end of tomorrow or the other day we shall be able to submit in all the requirements that were still pending. Our intention is to cement all our relationships with the people that are leading the sport, National Council, UOC, and everybody that runs the sport. So that's only continue to show the people that we are in good books with all the associations that are taking on the sports in Uganda. People have been asking why our Commonwealth boxers are subjected to Champions League, and the reason is very simple. One, we want to make them more fit. 2, we want to assess how far they have come in training, such that we can make more improvements where we see that they are lacking.
Uganda has continued with the spread of the sport across the country in a bid to conform to the new Sport Act. The association is holding nationwide training workshops, with the latest being held in Katakwi, Eastern Uganda, where over 20 school teachers were trained. The new law mandates sports associations to have at least 50% national coverage, while sport federations have to have at least 75% national coverage.
We've been here for 2 days on a training about badminton as a game, and it is one of the games that is inclusive. It includes, and actually all ages can play it, including the lame. The disabled can also play this game. And I'm actually so very happy because most of our disabled students had been left out in football, in netball, in volleyball. They have been left out. But this time round, badminton is going to include all the disabled students, and we are very happy for it.
It has opened up my mind, especially as far as this game is concerned. For example, it can be a woman versus a woman. Can be women versus women. There is also a mixed match.
Actually, it's an interesting game and it's a new one. The first thing I'm going to do is to set up a badminton club in my school, so that I start training my learners straight away to make them embrace the game and have the game being trained on, so that we prepare for our district meet for our district and plan for other games which may come in the future.
All right, listen up. Colgate is on a mission.
It's kind of a big thing.
Colgate Herbal uses traditional nature's herbs and combines it with Colgate Science for healthy gums and strong teeth.
Colgate Charcoal Gentle Clean cleans and polishes teeth for a whiter smile and a naturally fresh and clean mouth. Choose natural. Choose Colgate Charcoal.
Looking
Looking for a vacation of a lifetime? Cross the equator and discover Pineapple Bay Resort. Enjoy exceptional life's luxuries. Spend quality time with family, friends, or even that special someone. Get in touch with nature with our range of outdoor activities. The calming tranquility of water, breathtaking views, moving memories around campfires. It's all here. Plus, a club experience like no other at Pineapple Bay Clubhouse. It's a whole vibe. You can hire any of our 3 VIP cruise boats for groups of 10, 14, or 25 people. Or you can cruise out with swag on a luxury yacht for 12 people. Our premium boats are all safety compliant. Make your next vacay an all-round experience at Pineapple Bay, located on Bolago Island, right in the midst of Lake Victoria. Talk to us today.
Daudi Okello was born at Ongompaira in northern Uganda. He was a catechist who instructed those that wished to join Catholicism. On request, Daudi accepted to go and teach the word of God in Paimor, an area that was known for political and tribal dispute. He was baptized, received his first Holy Communion and confirmation in 1916. Daudi Okello was martyred by raiders who speared him several times in 1918 at the age of 18.
Brought to you by
Today we are in Mackay College School and we've got our winner, and that is none other than Michelle. I am sure you've already got
And today our guest is a man that mirrors Uganda's political history. He has served in the army, led a political party, and formed one. President Museveni unveils his cabinet with the opposition looking a little fragmented and questions around accountability and governance. Plus, the transition continued to dominate discourse. That is General Mugisha Muntu, who is ready to share with us his perspective on what's happening in the country. But slightly after 2026 elections, he seems to have gone silent, and Ugandans wondered where his viewpoint is on what is happening in this country. General, welcome.
Thank you, Delton.
Yes, and let's begin from there.
Hosting me on Deep Dive.
Okay, let's start from there. Uganda's been wondering, what is with the silence? After elections, you went silent.
We actually are not silent. So far, we've been to 9 engagements, going through sub-regions. We started with Soroti, we were in Mbale, we were in Iganga, we were in Kampala, we've been to Arua, we've been to Gulu, we have been to Kabare, Mbarara, Fort Potro, and Hoima. So we've done 10 engagements in 10 sub-regions where we have congregated our candidates who participated at the different levels in the last election, this 2026 election. Candidates and our coordinators doing reviews. Same thing we did after 2021. And we do reviews, we try to find out what challenges there were on the ground, what weaknesses there were, organizational weaknesses, and also trying to find out where there are strengths. And then we prepare for the way forward. We design or chart out the way forward. Because we're a party which believes in building for long term, that's why we do a lot, we focus a lot of effort on organizing and building right from the grassroots structures. Of course, the biggest challenge has always been resources. Otherwise, we would, in these last 5 years, would have completely established ourselves at all levels, village, parish, sub-county, district. In spite of all those challenges, we continue. Because, many people seem not to recognize the importance of politics in our lives as human beings. You get a sense that there are many people who don't understand that politics is at the core of our existence, anywhere any society is. Because politics is where our needs are responded to, every human need. There's no one human being who can be an island. We are communities. And therefore, there are many things which are meant to be done to serve us. You cannot, every family cannot educate itself and the children. Every family cannot build its own hospital or treat itself. Every family cannot move on its own road. Every family cannot generate its own power or organize its own water. So these are efforts which ordinarily are handled through politics. That's why they are governments. So when we spend a lot more time on other areas of our lives, with a lot of focus, with even, people put in money, I keep saying this thing over and over, people put money in churches, people put money in mosques, people put money in weddings, they contribute to friends and relatives, people go for burials, they exercise their social responsibility, they exercise their spiritual responsibility. When it comes to politics, there's a sense that people, in a sense, are detached. I mean, look like at 2026.
Yes.
10 million voters did not participate. Now, unfortunately, none of us yet knows, and I really hope that some organization will do research to find out what happened. How could 10 million people not vote? What was in their mind? What discouraged them? We need to know that. But that's literally 50% of the population.
All right. You say in 2021, actually, you also went out to find out, to assess your performance, what went wrong.
Yes.
Ordinarily, someone would think that after that, you got a picture of how you present yourself in the 2026 elections.
Yes.
But the results don't actually say much about ANT.
Yeah, 5 years is a very short time in the life of building an organization. And more so in operating the kind of hostile environment that we operate in, and also the nature of our society. One, politics has been commercialized. Many people
It's not new genre.
It's not new, I know. And those of us who are building long term, that's why whether people think we are slow or not, we are dedicated to what we are doing. Because we know therein lies the solution to the larger problems. I mean, like you can imagine, reversing the mindset that exists right now where people think that for them to be active in politics, they must be seeking for a handout. That's dangerous to a society. So we are not discouraged. We are supposed to be having like 23 members at every level. Village, parish, sub-county. 9 mainstream, 7 youth, 7 women. Even if we just have 2, 3, 4, and we keep on building, we've not covered the country yet. Biggest challenge, of course, is again resources. We understand that. That's why I was telling you earlier on that people dedicate effort, they put resources in all other areas.
Social activities.
Social activities,
Yes.
in spiritual activities. When it comes to politics,
nothing.
They somehow they don't connect in regard to that.
Looking back on
Yes.
the 2026 elections,
Yes.
what were your major lessons?
We have 2 problems. One, we have a problem at the leadership level, the national leadership. Because, you can be in power, like General Museveni has been in power in 40 years, and many people look at that as success. Because the 8 other leaders who were there for a much shorter time. But the culture after 62 until now is more or less the same. There's a disconnect between leaders, what they do, and the aspirations of the people. So one of the things which is being consistent, at least in the politics of this country since 1962, mostly by the political actors. The military actors were direct, like under General Amin, there was no politics. General Tua was there for a very short time. But the political actors like under UPC, like under General Museveni, what has been brought at the core of politics is deception, manipulation, and lies. It's the same. What they were doing in the 60s is what General Museveni has been doing in these years until now. But then, what are the consequences of that? Because when deception, manipulation, and lies get at the core or are inbuilt in the foundations of politics in a country, it has its consequences, however long you've been there. And I can already see the beginnings of that. The difference is that we keep telling people wherever we go, and as we reach out to draw in Ugandans who believe in that message, that values-driven politics is the only way we can build a firm foundation on the basis of which we can have a country that progresses, a country that grows in economic terms on a sustained basis, and that people themselves can prosper, and even conditions of peace and harmony. There is no way out of that. So there's contention. You go out there, people know that that is the solution. But then they think that it can't happen because more or less they have given up hope, they are frustrated. And we cannot give up on that. We have to keep pushing it and pushing it until it takes root.
Someone wonders that even when you know the tricks and the agenda of General Museveni, how come you have not made sure that you overturn that kind of mentality and straight to power? Because many critics actually say that opposition lack a realistic pathway to power.
I had indicated earlier on that there are 2 problems. So I mentioned one at the level of the national leadership. The second problem is the population itself. Because you see, if you are going to change the situation through the power of people, then you have to have a population which has high levels of political consciousness. More so within the political elite and also in the economic elite, those who are involved in businesses and the rest. If they desire to see a better future, if that future is to happen, they must invest in it, invest effort in terms of wielding influence in the areas of influence where they have, because everybody within the elite class has got a sphere of influence, maybe around 5 people, maybe 10 people, maybe 20 people. Some have got spheres of influence much larger than that. The weakness, though, is that there's a future that they want to see, but there's fear at times. They don't want to participate in shaping it because they want to play safe. I can tell you that there are many people who are quiet, not because they do not recognize that what is happening is wrong, but just because they don't want to, raise their heads and be noticed and be thought to be enemies of the state, as the regime also uses fear as a tool of manipulation. So there are problems on two sides: the national level leadership and then the population itself. So we have to know that kind of environment, and we know it. That's why we don't get frustrated.
Having understood them.
We understood.
Having understood the two dimensions. Still, there is no realistic pathway to power by the opposition.
There must be sustained effort. This is not the first country where a leader has been there for 40 years. We have seen many others. Actually, some have been beyond 40 years. Now, the problem, though, is if the foundation is weak, as our foundation is weak, because if you manage politics based on those three factors, actually four: fear, but also fear really is a tool of manipulation and control. Any government, any country which has been built, where politics has been built based on that, the ending has not been good.
Maybe you could add that the other is the construct itself of the opposition. Many critics have said the opposition is spending a lot of time fighting itself than actually trying to host the sitting government.
Well, the opposition is wide. We are different parties. We concentrate on what we do. We're a cohesive party. We are focused. We are disciplined. And we never engage in fights with any opposition party at all. Actually, as we speak, there's no conflict between ANT with the NUP. There's no conflict between ANT with the PFF. There's no conflict between ANT with the FDC or any other opposition party.
We may not see it.
We have not had.
Janak, I want to put it to you. We may not see it.
Yes.
But we have not seen proper cohesion.
Yes.
And I can just say that in the run to the elections, we saw an MOU between yourself and PFF.
Yes.
But it remained on paper. Well, we'll get back to this as we take this break. Where in the next discussion will return, we'll look at why the opposition and ANT did not actually push beyond the paper agreement with PFF. Stay here.
Bigger, bolder, and hotter than ever! Mr. Right is back in Season 3 on StarTimes Makula Chika, starting 15th March every Sunday at 8 p.m. This is Uganda's ultimate TV date show, where intentional kings step up and confident queens dominate the stage, where charm meets class, swag meets beauty, and money meets cash. All in Spotlight. Who will walk away with a soulmate? Hello, Mr. Right. Season 3. It's sponsored by Vaseline via Asian and lead sponsor Chinatown. Hello, Mr. Right. Season 3. Love Vibes Draw.
To the tips. Scammers often pose as friends or family to gain your trust. Always verify requests for money or personal data. Even if they seem urgent, a quick call to the person or company claiming to contact you can save you from falling victim to this deceit. In partnership with Uganda Communications Commission and NBS.
Why pay for someone else's repairs? Say bye. Hidden cost cost. And hello to peace of mind of a brand new start. Discover the Suzuki range of unmatched, fuel-efficient and reliable options. From the iconic Jimny to the new Across Hybrid, find the perfect blend of style and world-class efficiency. Upgrade today and enjoy 1 year of free fuel and comprehensive insurance, plus 2 years of free service and a 3-year warranty. Trade your current car or choose financing to start driving as you pay installments. Don't wait. Visit the Suzuki showroom today or call 0800-211-033 to get started.
Uganda's Agriculture as Traditional Center, ERC.
June to 19th July, everything can wait. The FIFA World Cup 2020. Catch all 104 matches on 4 dedicated channels. Live on Supersport, fully on GoTV.
Today, we remember courage, we honor faith, we celebrate sacrifice. The Uganda Matter taught us the value of steadfast belief and building a legacy that stands test of time. At TrackNav SMC Limited, we're committed to delivering innovative vehicle tracking, fleet management, accurate vehicle valuation, and asset disposal solutions that enhance safety, efficiency, and operational visibility. Wishing you a blessed Uganda Matters Day. TrackNav SMC Limited, making life easy.
Don't let your mornings be boring. Switch it up and start your day with a bang.
What tambula? Because given the pressures come along with this, honorable, obeerayo n'akadde n'omulako kono gambo bakampulize ku music maybe nga tugenda kamuli nteekemu music mpulire otambula bagamba generate weddemu amafuta.
Catch the morning switch Monday to Friday 6 to 10 a.m. only on 106.1 Next Radio.
Welcome back. It's a pleasure that's watching the deep dive. And my guest, like I said, he mirrors everything that is the political history of this country, and that is General Mugisha Muntu. Before we went for a break, you talked about the two-tier that actually comprise why we're not advancing politically. Yes. And I beg to ask about the third tier being the opposition. Yes. We saw you and the team go make an agreement with the PF. To the ordinary eye, it was one of those pacts were required for, and we thought that PFF will rally behind you in the presidential elections. Nothing, not even MPs.
Yeah, first, people need to know. Our people need to know that we are products of the very society that we come. So at times, the weaknesses that see on the side of the regime, on the side of the national leadership, the side of the population, at times are reflected also in opposition politics. So that's the kind of challenge. There must be Ugandans who understand all that and therefore work out ways how those challenges can be overcome.
So what was the challenge?
So look, for example, look at...
Speak about, let's verify about you.
Look at strategy, for example. Much we've been in opposition the last so many years. The strategies have been different. There are those who have already thought the only way you can oust this regime through civil disobedience. It's illegitimate. It's even constitutional in our constitution. It allows citizens who are grieved to use that path to the resolution of their grievances. I've never had any problem with that. Actually, locally it's known as defiance. And there are those who have received, as we have believed, that yes, that work, we also have to go down build infrastructure for political organizations, have leaders, so that in the event that civil disobedience does work, then we have to use the path of the electoral processes, whatever challenge there are in. Now, the weakness we've always had was that there was, as if the two were in conflict. To me, they have never been in conflict, because you use both
to achieve the same goal.
Yeah, because of organizational weaknesses, I think, in the way we think, in the way we look at strategy, in the way we look at tactics, we ended up in conflict. And at some point, some of the parties even separated based on that conflict, which shouldn't have happened. Like when we separated with the FDC. And with the benefit of hindsight, I keep asking people, why on earth were we even fighting? Because none of the two has worked yet, none of the two strategies. So we should have concentrated each, those who lived in the first.
Allow me to interrupt there, General. Yes. I want us to speak to the specifics.
Yes.
You went to PFF.
Yes.
The idea then means that the two approach strategies, you wanted to use them.
Now we wanted to operate around politics.
But nothing happened. What went wrong?
Nothing happened. Because let me give background. One, when we signed the MOU with the PFF, we became one in terms of operationally. Then we sought out NUP to discuss and see whether we could now collaborate with the NUP and for them build a vehicle. Now, when we coordinated effort with NUP, and it unfortunately came at a very late stage, because initially, separately, we were in touch with the NUP. PFF had in touch with the NUP, we had been in touch with them. But now we were together meeting with the NUP. So one issue was, there were two things, there were two views. One, that we cannot build a vehicle unless we have one candidate, presidential candidate. And the others who believe that even if you don't have one presidential candidate, you can still have a vehicle, because you can cooperate around a number of other things. For example, having coverage, national coverage in terms of agents, that you can also organize and have even joint campaigns between the principal candidates. They go in an area where there's only one candidate for one of the three parties, where all the three don't have, or two have. Because there you wouldn't have any effective message.
Which failed.
Well, that's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, that was never resolved. And unfortunately, we lost the opportunity of having a vehicle. Those of us in NT believe that you can have a vehicle even when you have more than one candidate.
But when you see...
Because you see, having one candidate is transitory. It's just an event. On the day after elections, the candidate will have won or will have lost. But a vehicle would be longer term. This is not an argument which started in 2025. We raised this argument in 2011. I raised when I was in FDC leader in 2016. At that time, our candidate was Chiza Besigye. And I was appealing to the other party and saying, look, even if we have more than one candidate, we can build a vehicle. Because the best case scenario, the candidate wins. Worst case scenario, none win. But to retain the vehicle, and we continue pursuing the struggle. People have never bought into that. And the evidence is clear, because after elections, none of us had taken power, and we didn't have a vehicle. And yet, it's needed. It's needed. So when there is a misunderstanding in terms of strategy, it creates problems. Because with the benefit of hindsight, I would like to believe that even those who are opposed to having a vehicle must really recognize that it was erroneous thinking. A vehicle is needed, whether you have one candidate or more than one candidate. In as I'm concerned, it is workable. It can be done if people are focused on the large issues of what confronts us. But the thinking is not similar. It's part of our weaknesses in the political elite, so we will have to live with it.
Indeed, many have said that your approach is intellectual. attractive, but electrically ineffective.
But it's also realistic, because I've seen in many places where people who don't even, when they are faced with a common challenge, they work together. I keep using most of the experiences I know are American. During Second World War, Soviet Union was communist. America, Britain, and Europe were capitalist, most of them. They were confronted by fascist Germany. They put aside their differences and they built a common front to fight Germany. Yet, before Germany became a threat, they were working to bring each other down. You know? So they worked together specifically in that. Soviet Union did become America. America didn't become the Union. They didn't have one leader. Each one had his leader. But they built a front. It's a complex thing. The path we've chosen to walk is realistic. I know many people don't comprehend that yet. But what gives us comfort is that time resolves a number of these issues. And I am sure, as I'm sure that day follows night, that down the road, people look back and they understand what we do, and they understand that it is the most realistic, and it is the one which I suspect is even going to lead us to the resolution or the overcoming of the challenges that we currently see in our politics. To the extent the path we have chosen to walk, around which we keep organizing, I think is what is going to bring positive fruits in the politics of this country down the road where we're heading. I know that we'll become victorious, because when you stand by what is right, doing what is right, and also use methods that first build and maintain cohesion in the organization in which you are. And you have people who are disciplined, leaders who are disciplined and focused and resilient. Eventually what we see, what other people don't see yet, they'll be able to see down the road, because it will become self-evident.
So what is your assessment of the current opposition, picking it from a time where every opposition coalesced around Kizza Besigye,
yes,
and to date, what has deteriorated, what has improved?
No, normally the population that wants change always revolves around one individual. Like in the case when Dr. Kizza Besigye was the principal opposition front, really, the one who was the spearhead of the opposition at that time. Many people, even when there would be other opposition candidates, people wanted change would run around him. Just like people rallied around around Honorable Kyagulanyi Robert this time round in 2021, in 2026. Sustenance, though, in as far as I'm concerned, because individuals can come and go. But when you build a vehicle and you have the organizational capabilities to sustain it, you'll have more impact down the road. Even when leaders come and go, leaders come and go. Because candidates, you can have one candidate this time around, another time you have another candidate down the road. But you need a vehicle. It has not been done yet, but that's our view, and we don't budge from that view.
Okay. Do you see Uganda any closer to having a peaceful transition?
We hope. I really hope that even those in the regime need to understand that the biggest challenge we've had in the last 63 years in our politics is that we've never had a smooth, stable transition. We have always had changes of power through violence. I would have hoped that it would be one of the key focal areas for this regime to achieve. They seem not to be working in that direction. However, this country doesn't belong to any individual. It doesn't even belong to any party. We are 47 million people. And therefore, if those who are in power are blind to that, the rest of us must keep organizing to achieve that.
All right.
Yes.
As we take a break, when you look back at the political events 2021, 2026, what are some of the things you feel have really vindicated you?
Country keeps going down the drain, basically, the way I look at things. You know, corruption is getting more and more intense. General Museveni himself recognizes that. He has said it many, many times. A total breakdown or compromise of the principle of separation of powers. Because ordinarily, Parliament should be independent, judiciary and executive, but all of them work collaborating in the management of the affairs of society. Right now, the three are fused.
People love to quote you.
The three are fused.
People love to quote you and say, like Mugisha Muntu says, time will tell.
Yeah. And there are so many things which are happening. I just see like an incident within the ruling party, which happened the last 2 to 3 weeks. It was spontaneous. It was never planned, but it just happened. Why? Because the internal contradictions within NRM will keep on intensifying. And how people get to know that is that this has passed. There are many people who are going to forget it in about 3 months. Something new will happen. But I think many more incidents, different in nature, but all coming from the weakness, the organizational weakness, and the deep contradictions within the party, NRM. But sadly, but most likely, they also happen because of the contradictions within the governance structures themselves. Because when you draw the national security or the state security apparatus in the politics of the country, in a manner in which I see them directly participating, it never has a good end.
All right.
I have seen it in many other countries, and we really would hope that those in power need to learn from other experiences elsewhere.
All right.
It is an era. We are walking on a very slippery path in regard to that.
All right. When we return, thank you. When we return, we shall be looking at Museveni's new cabinet, at the move on Anita Mwong, and whether Uganda's leadership is preparing it for the future. Stay here.
On This Matters for Us Uganda.
The world is going digital, and creativity is no longer just a passion, it's a pathway. Next Creator is building dignified job opportunities for young people by turning creativity into real careers. It's about more than just content. It's about learning digital skills that lead to sustainable income, branding yourself with confidence, understanding influence and the digital economy. Next Creator equips young creators with the tools they need to grow, adapt, and thrive in a fast-changing world. If you want to turn your ideas into opportunities, if you want to make creativity work for you, this is where you start. Next Creator, your skills, your future, your opportunity. This is Uganda. This is home.
Brought to you by
Explore Uganda, the Pearl of Africa.
From 11 June to 19 July, everything can wait. The FIFA World Cup 2026. Catch all 104 matches on 4 dedicated channels, live on SuperSport, only on DSTV.
Your faith should never be out of reach. No power? Do not stress. Move to your smartphone and stay right in the moment with AfroMobile. And for the Muslim community, every teaching you need is ready to listen to anytime, anywhere. Wherever you are, whatever the time, AfroMobile keeps you connected to your faith.
What makes us who we are is that we are freed
Welcome to Radio Wala, Uganda's very first radio station made just for Indian diaspora and lovers of Indian culture. From timeless Bollywood classics to today's hottest hits. Vibrant festivals, mouth-watering stories, and heartfelt moments from our community. Listen exclusively on Afro Mobile, your cultural connection anytime, anywhere. Whether you're cooking, driving, or just relaxing, turn up the joy with Radio Wala, because here, every day is a celebration. Radio Wala. Let's play.
Better study tips. Choose a unique PIN. Avoid using common and easy-to-guess numbers like your birthday, phone number, or consecutive numbers. Also, do not use the same PIN for multiple accounts. In partnership with Uganda Communications Commission and NBS.
Your faith should never be out of reach. No power? Do not stress. Move to your smartphone and stay right in the moment with Afro Mobile. And for the Muslim community, every teaching you need is ready to listen to anytime, anywhere. Wherever you are, whatever the time, Afro Mobile keeps you connected to your faith.
What makes us who we are is that we are freed. But when we are freed for service.
Welcome back, and my name is Dalton Kawesa. On the deep dive with me to have a perspective on what is happening in this country, I have General Mugisha Muntu. And General Mugisha Muntu, President Museveni released his cabinet list. What was your when you read it? Yes.
Yes.
What did it represent to you?
In fact, I haven't looked at it properly. I just keep picking bits and bits through conversations at times when you are scrolling through social media. But I don't expect much, really, because that view is consistent with what has happened the last so many changes in the cabinet. I get a sense that those who would be reformists within the NRM have not built a critical number within to put up a challenge internally and therefore change the direction of the regime where it's heading. Many of the appointees, there are those who may achieve some success in terms of programs and ministries. But you see, to me, at the end of the day, even when you have successes in running some programs, the question is the main direction of politics in the country, because that's their foundational issues. I've seen countries that have had better roads, more kilometers, wider roads. They have more energy generation. They have got wider coverage in terms of water. They have got higher coverage of children in school. But they have imploded because they never dealt with the foundational issues. So to me, that is the main question. That's the main question. And until this regime deals with that, whatever successes they have in a project implementation or certain programs that they do, some of them which are clearly visible. If you do things, but you are built on quicksand, it's like now we are seated possibly on the 4th floor. But you can imagine if we are sitting in a building of 4th floor or 20th floor or even 50th floor, but the foundation is weak. Eventually it can come down. And I think that's what we have to keep focusing on. So that even when this, by God's grace, should we be lucky enough to have a smooth transition and have a new government with new faces, that they will now have to start building on that.
How would you do it different?
Strengthening in what sense?
I mean, in a country, you just talked about the people.
Yes.
A few minutes ago.
Yes.
In a country where there is supposed to be political balancing, reward.
Yes.
How would you do differently in these elections?
You see, as long as there are people within a community who don't give up, who don't lose hope, who are resilient, and they keep pushing the message. There's a time when that meets with another group which is frustrated, which believes that they have hit a dead end, and therefore the two combine, and they can lead to change. There's always a turning point in life. It's a law of nature, it's a spiritual law. So I'm never worried about that. The question is the time. None of us can say exactly when. The only thing is that there must be people who have a presence in the politics, who keep on organizing, who keep on talking, who keep on sustaining hope. Then the dynamics of change themselves kick in, and then you find a meeting point between these two different forces, and then it can lead to the change. In the society.
When you look at the cabinet, the president seems to have touched the old people, people like his former classmate, the Matia Kasaija from finance, off the list. We have seen Moses Ali off the list. Does this give you an impression that is a cabinet of transition?
Nothing. You know, is always balanced. Around different interests that are relevant to particular times. So but the overall intention always has how to survive and retain power. But even when you do that and you do it successfully, over time, but the foundation is weak, if you don't deal with the cracks in the foundation, even if you have got a cabinet of whatever nature, once the foundation gives, everything just goes down. I keep focused on the larger picture, always. Yes, he balanced now, as he may try to balance down the road, I don't know. But as long as they don't deal with the foundational issues, I'm not going to have any
well, according to Electoral Commission,
any trust that where we're heading, that would have changed direction. Because we wouldn't have changed direction unless focus is put on the cracks which are in the foundation itself.
Well, President
because if you go through a manipulated electoral process like we did, if you have got political prisoners thrown into prison, just kept quiet, you know, trampling over the laws and the rights of individuals, you have like Dr. Chizabesje in prison, mandatory bail of 180 days. They are not paying attention to that. You have got the main candidate of the opposition, like Honorable Robert Chaguranyi, run out of the country. And then you get the facade of calmness in the country. It's like nothing is happening. Everything is stable, there is cohesion in the country. That's the impression you get on the surface. But see, even if there's that impression on the surface, when there are cracks and you don't deal with them, I can tell you that down the road you get larger
But
problems.
people are actually celebrating President Museveni for reading the political mood among Ugandans very, very well, to a point that there is a semblance of what you're talking about, of tranquility and everything is okay.
That has happened in many countries, which eventually imploded. I think there are quite a number of African countries where we've had that environment.
Okay, let's come to
the seeming calmness of the situation. It was in Tunisia, it was in Egypt, it was in Libya. Maybe Libya was even better off in a sense, because you would think that, government which was giving services, giving money, but the internal contradiction on which the external forces rode because of those internal contradictions is what caused the collapse of Egypt. If there was internal harmony, I can tell you, there is no way anybody from the outside can ever destabilize a country when that country has got internal cohesion. It's just simply not possible.
You hit it on Uganda and politics. Things change suddenly, and this interface. Let's look at the things that happened around the Speaker of the 11th Parliament, Anita Mong. What was your reading of all the activities, the moving and the towing of property? What was your reading politically?
It's a symptom of a larger problem, definitely. The contradictions within the regime and the fear that is a tool that literally keeps everybody with their heads low in that government, in that regime, So when something happens and they become fearful, as they did, you see knee-jerk reactions. Because you can see there was fear in the manner in which they did. I think they were feeling threatened. The base was feeling threatened. It's a symptom of a larger problem. I think we are going to see more of that as the contradictions keep on crystallizing and heightening. So I normally don't go into the details of this individual, that individual. I always look at the underlying factors. When you see what happened around that in the last 2 weeks, you see deception, manipulation, lies getting exposed. And those are the methods that have been used in this regime to sustain power. So one incident has passed. More are going to come unless they change direction.
All right. Yes. And when you look at how it was handled.
And you can see a lot of things which were revealed. Hitherto, everything seemed okay, seemed normal.
Are there lessons for politicians?
Well, there's nothing which is hidden that will not be revealed. Because even those who may celebrate victory, because always when there's that kind of situation, there are those who lose out, there are those who come on top. Now, those who are on top think that everything is okay, they are victorious. But down the road, you're going to find that they themselves, whatever is hidden, is also going to be revealed about them. That's what happens when you use manipulation, deception, lies, and fear.
Okay.
Eventually, you will succeed, but it is temporary. Eventually, the effect of what you do over a period of time, it kicks up, conflicts which are always brewing below the surface, as we are bound to see down the road where we're heading. Yeah.
All right. If you meet President Museveni today,
you can imagine like you're operating in a political situation. And then you have the army is the one saying, this is going to happen, and it happens. This is going to happen, and it happens. And there are people who are looking at individuals. That's a dynamic. People who are not focused on that kind of dynamic have a problem in the political analysis.
All right, you have just spoken about the army, and you commanded an army, Ugandan army here. Trust is one of them. What, in your reading, is about a populace that no longer trusts institutions?
Yeah, I mean, if you use the other, when you use, I keep repeating this, hopefully at some point people will get to understand. When you use deception, manipulation, and lies, you undermine the process of institutions strengthening, you undermine and actually compromise how systems function. When that happens, you create weakness.
Let me come on that very point.
Yes.
What would you tell President Museveni if you met him today about governance issues, like two governance issues?
I'll just tell him that, look, you are a human being. All of us are human beings. Sustenance of governance in a country should never be built around an individual. The stability of a country, the sustenance of good governance in a country must be built around institutions and governance systems. So when one individual leaves, another one comes in, they find that the country is established already on strong foundations of institutions and systems.
All right, finally, very finally, if a young person met you today and asked you, General, is politics worthy vehicle to change government in Uganda, what would you tell him?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Whatever the weaknesses are, currently in our politics, I think that's the best way where we should invest more effort rather than giving up on it. Because what are the alternatives? What are the alternatives?
All right.
Because the alternatives is to give up, or those who choose to take weapons, to take them and fight. But I think it has its problems. I have always said, you take weapons, you fight, you take power, and then if you're not, in our current environment, where many people are not strong enough to withstand the power of the use of weapons, you also get drunk. like those who are in there. So where is the end state? Okay. We need to shift the manner and the methods we use, I think, in terms of changing the politics of the country, in the process of which the population gets more empowered so that they become a strong foundation on the basis of which even future regimes can be responsive to the demands of the people.
Well, thank you very much, General Mugisha Muntu, for making time to speak to us.
Yeah.
Well, yes, thank you. And for the audience, whether you agree with his kind of politics or not, General Mugisha Muntu remains one of the pillars and most followed individuals in the political arena of this country. My name is Dalton Kawesa. Thank you for being part of this segment of the Deep Dive tonight. Good night.
Thanks for tuning in. Your feedback is highly valuable. Scan the QR code to share your thoughts.
NBS. Always.
Memory, the vast storage system in our brain. We learn more easily by visualizing things in our mind's eye.
People get so stressed at the train station, checking their ticket repeatedly, wondering, do I have to go to platform 7 now? Then I imagine the 7 dwarves on the platform. Yes, that's right, there were the